I'm on the air. Let's try this again. Hey, there we go. Hey, this is Jefferson Nunn with Liquid Health News and Biotoxin Foundation. And it's been incredible what's been going on. Just absolutely incredible. And sometimes it's hard to keep up, but we're going to do our damnedest to try to keep up with just all the random stuff that's going on. So, to start off with, and I'm going to try to set it up so that you can see what I see because I don't want to hide anything from y'all. You know? Let's see. How do I share my screen? I'll share that one. And hey, you can see my own Facebook feed. Isn't it crazy? So, in any case, if we go over to Liquid Health News, that's liquidhealth.news, you can see there is just a whole heck of a lot going on with everything. Um, we got COVID, that's just threatening the entire world. There's an outbreak in Europe that's just really causing some massive, massive problems. Here we are. Let's just play around with our feed. Let's find one that looks good. Hey, that's not too bad. All right. So if you look over here, China is finally going, oh, yeah, we're going to let some people take a look at what's going on with COVID and how it happened and everything. But if you're not watching, you'll miss some more important news, like this one. So it turns out eating too much sugar actually screws with your hormone and, well, causes some big problems for you. And furthermore, if your body's dealing with some massive amounts of toxins, right, it'll just further exacerbate all of this, right? So that's why it's super important to try to live as healthy as possible. Because the more sugar that you eat, the more that your body's not going to be able to handle toxic effects of, say, for example, mold or just anything else that's going on in the air and around you. Like, the lady I was talking about a month ago here had that 6 foot mountain of tires. And so if you're consuming a lot of sugar, your body's trying to fight that as well as the the tires, and everything else. But to put this in more perspective, if your body's trying to fight off COVID as well as all this sugar problem, so the long and short of it is, you want to be careful what you eat. And along with this, there's some other really fascinating news that have come out in the last little while here. Along with this amazing, there's a couple of really good infrared temperature guns that are out there. But then the question is, what do you zap? Do you zap the guy's forehead or the neck? Or turns out it's really important what you're zapping because people have different temperatures in different places. So it turns out the forehead is more accurate from the wrist, but there's other areas that could be more accurate, and it depends on whether or not they're wearing makeup or whatever. So if you're wearing makeup, zapping the forehead may not work. Something to think about. So in any case, you definitely want to eat healthy. You definitely don't want to be doing liquid e-cigarettes right now because COVID comes in through the lungs, right? And if you're doing the e-cigarette thing, these people are more likely to die. And then the question is, did they die of the COVID or e-cigarettes? Or both, you know? And then that's always the debate is, well, what did he really die from? Well, it was really the e-cigarettes that killed him, and COVID was just the final blow. I'm sorry, but the bottom line is if they didn't have COVID, they might have had a chance to recover from e-cigarettes. Come on, guys. So this crap is pretty nasty. And this is on top of all the other toxins that are going on in the environment. Um, so let's turn, and it's good that, there's a lot less vaping going on because that stuff is nasty. But let's turn our attention to, news a little bit more germane. And I said I was going to talk about it. I'm not so sure if I can find a post, but there was somebody in here in this group that had asked. So listen, I've got Lyme disease. Should I do the vaccine? There's an article, and it'll be up soon on Liquid Health News. There was an article, it was actually a research study that said, people with Lyme disease, their RNA, messenger RNA, mRNA, is a little messed up. All right, because when the tick bites you and infects you with Lyme, that virus actually screws with the mRNA. Now, the COVID vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. So, if you have Lyme disease or randomly some other ones where your mRNA is compromised already, doing a vaccine could kill you. It could. We're not sure, is their answer. So, yeah, there's not enough research into this, all of this, let alone the toxins that are going on. Um, drinking a wrong beer, I wish I could, but I'm taking medicines that says you can't drink. So in any case, there are some people like this one waking up at 3 a.m. I can talk a little bit about that because I've experienced it. When you have toxins in your body, right? There is a toxic response that the body does. There are pathways that the body just opens up and goes, I got to hit flush here to try to get rid of the toxins. Now, these things can get stuck open. That's bad. When they get stuck open in that open state, it's going to take a while to recover from that, number one. Number two, there's a lot you have to do to try to get the body to stop that toxic response. What is the toxic response? Well, think about it. If you were to drink, I don't know, laundry detergent, the first response would be the body to try to get rid of it from the stomach, right? So the stomach is going to go puke and it's going to try to get rid of it. I just got a message, by the way. Somebody said they like my hat. In any case, the body's going to try to get rid of it. And there you go. Now, let's say for whatever reason, it can't come out of the stomach. What's next, you ask? Well, it's going to go through the gallbladder. And the gallbladder is going to try to help get rid of it. And the liver, too, by the way. If the liver and the gallbladder can't get rid of it, what's next? There are pathways throughout the body and the blood vessel systems and so forth that will open up to try to also flush. That can lead to excessive peeing. That can lead to, you're waking up at night 2, 3, 4 times a night, just not able to sleep because your body's in overdrive, trying to get rid of toxins. That's what happens. That's the toxic response. So that's something to think about. If you want to get back to regular sleep at night, and I realize this is the question, there are some things you can do to trick the body to go back to sleep. I recommend supplements like this one, Keep Calm. You can take as many as four of these quite safely. If you look, I don't know if you can see the back of the ingredient list, if it's blurry or whatever, but I can certainly have it typed up at the end of the show. So it'll be in the transcript, but it contains things like lemon balm, valerian root, GABA, ashwagandha, 5-HTP, melatonin. Melatonin is one of the big ingredients. 5-HTP is another one. You take four of these, you're going to be a little drowsy, I'm telling you. I only had to take one for my body, but and the key is you want to do what you can to try to force the body to get back to that sleeping mode. The other thing you want to do, by the way, to perhaps reduce excessive peeing, and this is after a period of time where you've adapted a bit more. In other words, you're sure that the toxins are out of the body. Actually, one of the good ways to try to force the body to get rid of some of those toxins is to try to drink as little as possible. All right. If you find you're peeing 18 times a day, drink less. I know there's a bit about, how much you should drink every day, but we're talking about reducing how much you have to drink, not eliminating. All right. Reducing. So perhaps a couple of cups of water throughout the day. You have to experiment what your minimum is. There is a minimum that your body can tolerate safely. I'm not saying to go thirsty. If it's a hot day, drink. All right. Don't get heat exhaustion. But, and again, I'm sure there's the tagline. This is not medical advice. Consult your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing my experience. But, there's going to be a minimum that I've read, you can drink. That minimum is what you should drink. All right. You'll have to pee a couple of times a day, but that forces your gut and specifically your gallbladder to try to get rid of more garbage. All right. That's the key, is to try to get rid of that garbage that's in your body. You do that for a week, your body's going to feel better. I'm telling you, it will feel better because it has less garbage in it. If you're drinking too much, the gallbladder doesn't have to contribute as much because it figures, hey, there's plenty of liquid here. What do I got to do? I'm just hanging out. You drink very little, your gallbladder is going to push out more. Holy crap, there's not enough in the stomach. Barf. That's what it's going to do. All right, let's see what else we got up for bid. Tonsil removal. Okay. The tonsils are actually an important part of the body's immune system, along with, this little right behind the front teeth, there's a little gland there as well. Both of those are triggers for stimulating the immune system. Now, some people, if you have an especially, a lot of things going on with the nose, and you end up a mouth breather, you're not going to be able to sleep as well at night, by the way. And if you do, you should look at getting your nose fixed. If you have only continuous problems with your tonsils, perhaps removal can be recommended, but only if it's like always infected. If it's not always infected, the modern thing, by the way, today is to say don't remove the tonsils. The tonsils are an important part of the body's immune system. When you eat food, it brushes against it, and for those few seconds, the first wave of the body's fighters hits that food, and the first idea of what the body should do to fight foreign pathogens are activated. If it's not there, you don't have that first wave, and now your body has to work more. That said, if you're messed up with mold, Lyme disease, toxins, heavy metals, it's a tough call. Like I said, if it's always, enlarged, consult your doctor. It may have to be removed because if it's causing problems, it's certainly not helping. And if you've been going on, months and you're not sleeping and all that, yeah, consult your doctor. Think about it. But in the meantime, as a general thing, it's not recommended. Zeolites. So here's the deal. Some random dudes got together and they started selling you this rock. All right. It's literally a rock. It's hugely available all over Mexico, by the way. And, randomly, one random person came along one random day and ate this rock and claimed to have some type of, you know, thing about, it helping. It not really something that you should eat a lot of at all. Furthermore, it's not something, I mean, it's actually something that can be used as a laundry detergent, right? It's something they use to make cement. It's actually great for stopping severe bleeding. By the way, if you have severe bleeding, don't put hydrogen peroxide on it. Because hydrogen peroxide is actually a poison. All right. If you have a tiny cut, that's one thing. If you can see your bone, yeah, you need one of these other things. All right. And definitely don't do IV hydrogen peroxide. I mean, that's really bad news. That's not something you want in your body. Similarly, this zeolite, there was a study that was done that was talking about, zeolite poisoning. I'm not able to spell right now. There we go. So again, there's different kinds of zeolites. It's not water or fat soluble. All right. It doesn't add aluminum to the body. It doesn't really capture toxins. If there are heavy metals in zeolite, guess what? You just ate some more heavy metals. All right. So, yeah, I don't generally, I mean, if you ask me, should I take zeolite? I'd say no. It's not something that I would recommend. All right. It's not something that I would say has helped me. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. VIP is something that can help the body to stop, going crazy. In the meantime, there's this bit about vertigo and tinnitus. I had vertigo. I nearly hit my head falling over in the shower. When I was in that mold poisoning environment, I was literally falling over, while walking from room to room. What can you do? How do you survive vertigo? There's no real pill for it. All right. Um, lay down, obviously, um, until the room stops spinning or whatever. Just lay down. Definitely avoid any kind of caffeine while you're in that midst of the vertigo. Caffeine definitely does not help vertigo. I learned, at least in my case, it didn't. Um, food can help a little bit, all right, because now the blood's going down to your stomach, not your head, and therefore liquid food can definitely help, again, because of the energy. We talked about that on the last show. So, but in the meantime, all you can do is wait until it passes. Now, if the vertigo is caused by the inner ear, there is a small chance that it may be caused by stones. Yes, honest to goodness rocks or whatever random crap that's in the inner ear. How do you get rid of it? You lay on the bed, but it's kind of complicated. You go to a 45-degree angle with your head tilted back, but at a 45-degree angle. You start there. All right. And then you literally just have to keep turning your head around. I'll link it at the end of the show, that procedure. You keep turning your head around for, say, 45 seconds or so. And what you're doing is you're causing that rock to travel through the inner ear until it falls out. And once it falls out, you will feel so much better. Trust me on that. But that's only if it's crap. And especially if you're hearing ringing, good sign that there's some crap in your ear. Now, the problem is if there's mold in the ear, in that inner ear area, and it's releasing toxins, that ringing might be permanent. And there is no cure. Fun. So I'm going to do one more question. And if anybody has questions for the show, post it to Liquid Health News. I'm going to respond to each of these posts with the link to this video. That is a video response to their question. We were just talking about sugar, but this person says, when I eat sweet, I get, hot flashes and so forth. So listen, I'm going to say this again. Sugar, refined sugar specifically, is an irritant. It is something that is really, really, really bad for the body. There is absolutely nothing good about sugar at all. I'm not talking about fruits. I'm not talking about, the little bit of sugar that might be in a veggie. And again, as with everything else, it all comes about, quantity. If you have a tiny little bit of sauce with, I don't know, like for example, a dip. You had one stalk of celery and you dipped it in whatever, and it had a tiny little bit of sugar, and you ate it. What's it going to do? Probably be very little, if anything at all. Okay, you got to understand the scale of things. If you eat a bag of M&Ms, whole different story. So refined sugar does not get processed properly by the body at all. We haven't genetically matured to comprehend what sugar is. Seriously. So what happens is when it gets into our body, there are certain enzymes and bacteria and whatnot that go and sugar, and they attach to it. The problem is when it does that, it doesn't go where it's supposed to go. So when it goes to that place where it thinks, hey, this is helpful sugar, turns out it does absolutely nothing at all. And so your body now has less energy than it had before. And if that wasn't bad enough, when it comes to the liver really freaks out over refined sugar. There's a thing called fatty liver disease. That's what you get when you don't properly process sugar. You get fatty liver disease, and then you end up on medicines for the rest of your life, and that's as good as they can treat it because they don't know how to treat it. That's because sugar doesn't get processed properly at all. The liver doesn't like it. The gut bacteria doesn't like it. Your bloodstream doesn't like it. Everything doesn't like it. And on top of that, if you have an allergy, it doesn't like it either. So your body goes nuts. Now, on top of that, if you've had mold sensitivities, toxin sensitivities, heavy metals, Lyme disease, pick something. If you have any one of those and you add sugar to that, it's not going to be a happy ending ever. The best we got right now. And I wish I had something better, but I don't. But believe me, I'm fighting the same battles with sugar myself. It does me no good. I try to keep my diet as pure as possible, and I emphasize on the possible. Somebody had to, offers me a piece of cheesecake when I'm at a party. I'm going to eat the damn cheesecake because I don't want to offend. And then the next day, I'm going to be shit. I shouldn't have eaten that cheesecake. Just the way it is. Meantime, I'll keep taking my supplements. The few that I take, I'll keep taking my medicines. A bunch of those that I take, and I'll try to keep drinking the RMBJ. I'll try to keep eating vegetables without any sauce. It'll be cooked in a little bit of oil. No peanut oil because, yay me, I'm allergic to peanuts too. It's like if that wasn't enough, there goes half my diet. And I'll certainly have meat without the sauce. See, avoid sugar. I keep avoiding sugar because I know it's damn bad for me. So that's our show for today. I hope that I helped. I'm going to be linking this in a few places. If you have questions, post it. I will respond on Sunday to as many questions as I can. If I don't have questions, I'm going to go look for questions. My goal is to try to help you. I receive absolutely no compensation for this show. I will not recommend any products on this show as a result of paid advertising. Our sponsorship remains only from Solve.care, and outside of saying that you can go see a doctor on their platform, we don't really say much at all about them other than that. And we're sponsored by the Biotoxin Foundation, and they actually have absolutely no money at all right now. So we can't help anybody. And that's where we're at. That's our show. Have a great one. Happy holidays. The next show, if I have a chance, I will do it on this coming Sunday. Otherwise, I'll do it in the first week of the new year. Have a great one.